Hi and welcome. My name is Shannon and I'm a binge eating and intuitive eating coach. In this video, we're going to be covering the important action steps to take after a binge eating episode. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because the last action step is often the most overlooked, but it's the most important. So it's no secret that binge episodes bring up a lot of feelings of shame, embarrassment, and guilt. However, beating yourself up about the situation is not going to help. Trust me, as someone who used to hate myself after I binged, it does nothing but harm you when you are continuously thinking, I'm a bad person for doing this, I can't believe I did this to myself. All of the shame storm thoughts that start to come up, it's not helping. So what can you do to work through some of these negative thoughts? Well, first and foremost, try to talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend who is in a similar situation. This is just a good general rule. Usually we are not rude to our friends, right? So try to treat yourself in this situation like you would a friend. Affirmations, journaling, meditation, those types of activities can also be helpful in processing those intense emotions like guilt, shame, and embarrassment. We have a free binge eating journal with tons of different prompts on binge eating, after a binge, etc. So I'll link that in the description box. You can go download it and have some journal prompts ready to go. This is also an exercise that you can try and see if it's helpful. So take your hand, hold it over your heart, take a big deep breath. You can say something to yourself like, I am whole, I am worthy, this binge does not detract from my worth, and I can move on with my day, I can still love and respect myself. Something along those lines. Sometimes just taking that intentional time to say some positive affirmations about ourselves can make a huge difference as well. So the next step after a binge is to actually get curious. I want you to act like a detective in this sense. And as you're getting curious, I want you to start to think about what events led up to the binge that could have triggered it or exacerbated or contributed to it. So for example, was there a situation that may have triggered the binge, like a difficult conversation with a family member or a stressful event at work or upcoming stress with your school? Is there something that could have caused stress or anxiety or other big feelings to come up that caused the binge to happen? And we're using food to cope or numb those feelings that are inevitably coming up from a situation or just from day-to-day life. Have you potentially been restricting your food and therefore deprivation caused the binge? So the reason we want to act like a detective here and sort of figure out why may have this binge happened, even if we can't pinpoint exactly, we can start to build evidence and data so we know why our binges are happening. And when we know why our binges are happening, we know what to tackle and what situations we may need some additional coping skills to cover. And this is really, really helpful in helping you heal from binge eating. So after a binge, you might be feeling some physical discomfort. So I highly encourage you to put on comfortable clothes, make sure you're not wearing anything too restrictive so that you are giving your body that sense of support and comfort that you need. Avoid making up for the binge through exercise, but if it feels good for you to go on a short walk or do some light stretching, you can totally do that too. Okay, the last action step I recommend after a binge is, like I said, often overlooked, but it is the most important step. And that is to continue eating snacks and meals regularly. So after a binge, you may be tempted to skip eating if it's, earlier in the day for the rest of the day or part of the day, or if it's at night, you might delay eating the next morning. But what this does is that it sets our body up for expecting restriction after a binge. You're probably or maybe not feeling physically hungry from the binge, and that's okay, but it's still important to continuously nourish your body in these moments so that you can break that cycle of restriction and binging. So as best as you can, continue eating meals and snacks after a binge, like I said, to disrupt that binge restrict cycle and to show your body that it can trust that it's going to be getting regular nourishment. This is really huge for quieting down that binge brain of ours. So to recap, the 4 action steps you can take after a binge. 1, treat yourself with kindness. Don't beat yourself up about the situation. 2, act like a detective and reflect on why the binge may have happened. 3, get comfortable. And 4, continue eating regular meals and snacks. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.